All right, so we were talking before about, everyone is sort of searching for happiness. Everyone's on their own little journey to achieve something. So, what do you think that is, the key to happiness?
Well, I suppose there's a difference between what the key to happiness really is and what people believe it to be. I think the problem with modern society nowadays is that people actually believe the key to happiness is the accumulation of material things. And they think the more they accumulate, the happier they become. And then they find out to their cost that no matter how much they accumulate, they're still not happy. In fact, they probably become more stressed, if anything.
You're saying that people don't feel things in our modern society?
They do, but differently. Because they fool themselves into thinking that the things that are physical and material is the key to happiness.
So you're saying that nowadays society is divided into two categories of people. Those who only pursue happiness and material comforts and those who don't?
Well, I don't...
Is it easy to distinguish between the two?
I think it's become harder to distinguish for people what truly makes them happy. So our societies are not so per se divided into two. It's divided into various slots. But I think the problem with it is because people don't actually ask themselves that question anymore. They don't ask, okay, what really makes me happy, rather than what people have told me is supposed to make me happy. And that's the problem. They're losing sight of it. So because they don't actually ask themselves, is this really making me happy, or have I been told that it's supposed to?
Because they don't take the time to ask themselves, or because they forgot how to ask themselves?
I think it's probably a combination of the two, to be honest with you, because so many of us don't actually look inside ourselves anymore because we're so busy running from one thing to the next.
Where do you place yourself?
And well,
on the spectrum of
I think I've gotten better at asking myself that question. Maybe it's got to do with becoming more content with myself. So I no longer criticize myself as much as I used to, pick myself apart. I say to myself, I'm marching to the beat of my own drum, and that's fine. Because the only person I have to compete with really should be myself. And that's also another problem. Another mistake I think a lot of people make. They don't compete with themselves; they compete with others. Oh, he has a nice car, I should get a nicer one. She has that job, I should get a better job. So it becomes a competition rather than a personal journey to discover what makes them happy.
I think it depends on where you are mentally.
I think it depends all about where you are mentally, really. Because, like I just said, because we're rushing around so much, we don't even examine ourselves, our own mental state. Properly. Not because we don't want to, but sometimes it's either because we're afraid, or like you said earlier, don't have time. And people actually don't. So what then happens is that we sort of lose touch with ourselves in many ways. And because we lose touch with ourselves, we start losing touch with our core. We stop asking ourselves, is this really it? Is this where I'm supposed to be in my life? Is this really what I want?
I like what you said about time. It's important to mention time because I think we shouldn't really be so hard on people. I think.
Oh no, this is not a question of art. This is simply the reality.
I think we are all suffering from, the modern pace of our lives.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's what's, stopping us maybe from stepping aside and taking our time.
It's definitely very hard. It's hard to step aside and stop.
Reflect on things anymore. Things happen so fast, it feels like we don't really have time.
And everything around us has created this idea of constantly running. Whether it's getting to work, whether it's going to do this or that. So the whole world around us has created in us this anxiety that we constantly have to move.
The start to annul this effect of our modern stressful lives is to start thinking of building meaningful relationships and investing in those relationships. Is that what?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people still do that. But even so, I think because we have things like social media, that has given the whole idea of relationships a makeover as well. So that has also changed what people now perceive as friendships, even. I mean, you have people who spend more time talking to screens than they do to the people around them, which I think is worrying. It really is, because and that's. I mean, a friend of mine I was speaking to the other day was telling me that how they performed a study at the University of Bonn in Germany, And they took a group of young people. I can't exactly remember the number, but they then discovered that more than half the people they interviewed don't have any real friends.
Wow.
Yeah. So that there itself should tell you something about how the concept of even relationships have changed. So people spend all the time talking to people on screens, people they haven't even met,
Leading
but they
double
don't have
lives.
real friends. That
Virtual
there
ones.
worries me. It does.
We're losing connection with the physical reality.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think we are for sure. And this is not a question of judging or criticizing. This is simply what the world has become in many ways. And because we live in it, we somehow get drawn in and lured in by it. And that doesn't mean that social media doesn't have positives. Of course it does. I mean, it would be short-sighted to say that it doesn't. I mean, for me personally, it has its ups. Not that I use it because you know I don't like it. But
But
I
you can
used
go
to have-
backwards, like the evolutionary movement that humanity has taken cannot, be stopped or turned,
What do you mean?
back. Like you feel like with the scientific progress that we are witnessing, in our age, you can't go backwards and try
we
to
can.
live life as if like virtual reality is non-existent.
But I think
or-
we can.
But I think the right way is, if there is, such a thing, is to find your balance.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that. That's why I said it. I'm not saying it's got only negatives. Of course, it's got positives. The question here is a question of balance, and many people lose that balance.
How useful this is to you, and to what end you would be using it, and
Yeah.
you shouldn't forget that you're the one controlling it. It shouldn't be the other way around.
Oh, but that's exactly the problem with some people. It has started to control them. You have teenagers now commit suicide when people don't like their photos on Instagram. That's how bad it has become.
What does the future look like to you?
I don't think I can answer that because
I said exactly the same thing last
Yeah.
time. It would be a bit arrogant to assume an answer. That's what I told Ruby because I said you never know how it's going to go.
yeah, I think that's the beauty of time. It is monodirectional, but it could have multiple different directions at the same time. Like it could take you to different places depending on what choices you make. So
Yeah.
I can't really think of what the future will be like. I can only think of what I can do now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what consequences that could have on the different paths that this action of mine could lead to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely.
But maybe we should ask you
No, I'm the
about
question
the
man.
future.
For me also it's impossible to answer the question about the future because who knows how it's going to go. But what you said earlier about scientific advances and stuff, I do feel troubled by the fact that despite all the advances we've made, right, we are now able to talk to people on the other side of the world, which is great. But there's still no cure for cancer. So how much have we really advanced? In the 1980s, people would say cancer can be beaten. They'd come up with all these ideas. People are still dying like flies. So my question always is, how much have we really advanced? Because it seems to me
Yeah.
like the ways in which we should be advancing, we've lost it. I mean, look at the state of the world we live in. We have presidents of countries who are openly racist. So how much have we really grown? How civil are we really? That's something I think about a lot.
So to wrap it up, there is no key. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I suppose what I'm trying to say is you can only find the key within yourself. Because other people can't make you happy. It's something you have to find inside yourself. Because a person who can make himself happy will then know how to give happiness. A lot of people have that idea that somebody's
you
supposed to...
learn how to make yourself happy.
Yeah, you do.
Your relationships with others.
Yeah, people can enhance your happiness.
Yeah.
But they can't be responsible for it and make you happy.
I think I don't even like the word happiness. I think the word for me would be peace. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because happiness is overrated, really. And it comes in peaks and moments,
Yeah.
and
Different times, it's also different things make different people
Yeah.
happy. So I believe what you're saying about peace is definitely true.
So the Mel, that was another fascinating insight, and thanks to the special guest, Miss Halal.
It's a pleasure.
Meeting you.
Until next week, yeah?
Next week when?